Hello, welcome back to another episode of Unleashing Brilliance. Today, oh my gosh, well, first up, I have had a week from hell. And so what I wanted to do on today's episode is really dive into those trenches of stress and survival and some of those daily habits that I use that keep me from totally combusting, in the hope that it can help you in your weeks if you're having one of those, because I absolutely lost my shit this week. No big drama, no catastrophe, just an explosion of emotions. A snap tone at my husband, getting shitty with the kids, and a general sense that I could burn it all down and move to a hut in the mountains if I wanted to. Does any of that sound familiar? The kicker here is that it wasn't anyone else's fault. It was my fault. Because you see, what I'd done is I'd let my own stress reduction habits go. The very practices that keep me sane, that keep me grounded, the ones that keep me focused. They'd quietly exited stage left while I was busy, too busy actually, doing lots of work that just sent me doolally. So today what I thought I'd do is share some of those real stress hacks that I use and that actually I abuse quite regularly. The ones that I need to actually be really focused on that will stop me spiraling and coming back to myself, and hopefully yourself too. So I thought this may help you. So let's just call it as it is. Life is bloody stressful right now. We're running our businesses, we're managing teams, we're launching offers, we're looking for clients, we're dealing with all of the weird politics and heavy news that goes on, and some of us might be dealing with unexpected bills. And all of the while, you are trying to stay healthy and mindful and Instagrammably inspirational. And some days it is too much. And I've been hearing lots of similar stories from so many of my clients over the last couple of weeks. And I think it's because this mental load that we're all experiencing right now is relentless. You know, you've got to keep the marketing going. You've got to make those sales. We've got to deliver like pros. We've got to build the bills, all while showing up with charisma and thought leadership and inspiration. And all the while, we've got to keep breathing, right? So if you're feeling on edge, if you're feeling overwhelmed, or if you're feeling anything like me last week, 2 minutes, 2 seconds, actually, not even 2 minutes, 2 seconds from a total and utter meltdown, I want you to know that you're not alone. So many of us that are running our own businesses right now, or so many of us that are in senior positions of leadership right now, are in the same position. Now, last week, by about 3 p.m., I was a snappy, impatient mess. I remember it was actually Thursday night. And by 3 p.m., I was really close to absolutely losing everything. I'd cancelled my walk, I'd skipped my lunch, I'd been in back-to-back calls that had bled into my sacred deep work time. And my nervous system, quite honestly, was totally shot. I was overtired, I was undernourished, I was overstimulated, I was completely disconnected from myself. And that's when it hit me. I'd actually let my own stress rituals go. Not in like a big dramatic way, but slowly and sneakily, those good habits that I'd had in place had slipped. The support systems had failed, and suddenly I was surviving. I wasn't leading at all. And so I had to hit pause. I had to grab my journal, and I did a reset. There might have been a few phone calls to some very dear friends as well to have that rant, have that rage, to essentially realize that I had to reset. I had to recommit to the habits that I know enable me to survive. Because here's the thing, the reset that was needed was me. I couldn't blame my clients. I couldn't blame my diary. I couldn't blame those phone calls that had come in. It was nobody else's fault but mine. It was time to reset those anti-stress habits. And so what I thought I'd do is share with you some of the real stress hacks that work for me and the things that I've actually got to really double down on, particularly during these tricky, challenging times. Now, the first one for me is meditation. And actually, this is the first thing I drop. And it's actually the one that I probably need most when all around me is going into chaos. This one is the irony of my life because I know how good meditation is for me. I know it centers me. I know it softens me. I know it makes me more present. And yet it's always the first thing I ditch when I get busy. So what I've had to do is really hack my day. And I've had to work out, how do I make sure that meditation becomes part of my day? So what I do now, it's the first thing I do. I've set my alarm 30 minutes earlier than what I was doing. And my alarm will now go off 30 minutes earlier. I nip to the bathroom and then I actually crawl back into bed and I reach over and I grab my AirPods, which I've left beside my bed the night before, and I press play on my meditation. And lately what I've been loving is David G's deep healing meditation that you can find on Insight Timer. I absolutely love it. It's 23 minutes of deep healing meditation. I listen to the same one every single day. The breathing, the centering, the visualization, all of it setting the tone for my day. And it has to be this way to become a discipline. Because what I've realized is meditation isn't a luxury. It's actually not a nice to have. It's a non-negotiable. There's a beautiful client in my community, a lady called Louise Gibson. And I love the fact that every single Monday when we write down what are we committing to for this week, what are the 3 non-negotiables, for the last 18 months, every single week, her number 1 non-negotiable has been meditation, of looking after herself. And I need to get better at this. This is actually the one that I need to work on. So what I found that helps me is keeping headphones by the bed, no scrolling, literally set that alarm 30 minutes earlier. I jump out of bed, I grab my earphones, and I listen to the same meditation for 23 minutes. And that is my number 1 thing that I have to do. And I have to make sure I do on a regular basis to manage my stress through the day. Now, the second thing for me is slow mornings. Yes, I start at the gym, I do, but they're part of my slow mornings. And when I say slow mornings, I mean intentional. For me, it starts with F45. That's my gym of choice. I absolutely love it. And to make sure it becomes part of my slow morning habit, I lay out my gym gear the night before, runners, leggings, socks, everything's there so that when my alarm goes off, when I've completed my meditation, I can literally go and put my gym gear on and off I go. I don't have to negotiate with myself. I just have to get my sorry ass out of bed and go. And I love F45. It works well for me because yes, it's cardio. Yes, it's using weights and strength exercises, but for me, it's the community. Part of my slow morning is turning up at the gym. It's seeing those familiar faces. It's being greeted by my name. It's not having to think because someone else has done the thinking and the planning for me. It's energizing, it's grounding, it's motivating. And for me, it's a non-negotiable. And then how my slow morning continues is I head home, I grab a quiet coffee, hopefully before the rest of the house wakes up, and I try and spend a few minutes with my journal. Nothing fancy, just checking in with myself, reflecting and setting my tone for the day. So that's my number 2. And I reckon your challenge here, if you fancy doing this, is just lay the clothes out the night before. Commit to movement, any form of movement in the morning, whether it's the gym, whether it's yoga, whether it's a walk, whether it's even a dance party in your kitchen, whatever it is, start the day with you. Now, my third stress hack is making sure that I move through the day. It's not just about the morning. Exercise is great, but what I've learned is that I need to ensure that I'm moving throughout the day. I'm lucky enough to live by the ocean. And so walking down, hearing the waves, breathing in the salt air, for me, oh my gosh, it's absolute soul therapy. But here's the thing. I was recently working with a sports nutritionist who got me to start tracking my steps. And when I started tracking my steps, I realized I actually wasn't doing enough, because it's easy to sit at my desk all day, to work all day without even noticing. And she challenged me to first up hit 10,000 steps. And then she even ramped it up to 14,000 steps. And guess what? When I was being held accountable, I found the time. I planned it into my calendar. But what I've realized, particularly on the back of last week and losing my shit, is that when that accountability goes, so did my walks, so did my steps. And so this week I had the wake up call, and I've realized that I've stopped doing the steps again. So this morning, before I hit record on this podcast, I opened up my calendar and I scheduled my walks back in. Doesn't have to be long, even 30 minutes around the block, but it's there. I've looked at my calendar and I've actually looked at what's ahead. And whilst the weeks ahead are still pretty crammed, I've actually blocked out the moment for those walks in my calendar, but I've also planned it ahead. So if you were to look at my calendar for September, October, November, December, for 6 months, 9 months ahead, they're already in there. It's in there. It's booked. It's going to happen. And sometimes when all hell might feel like it's breaking loose, this movement piece could just be getting up. It could be walking away from your desk. That's the real hack. Go and play a ridiculous song that you love and dance like a lunatic. Make a cup of coffee and be present whilst you're making that cup of coffee. Even watch a short episode of something. Read a chapter of a book. It doesn't matter. Open up your meditation app. Do 10 minutes. Deep breathe. Change the state. The thing here is, part of this stress hack, whether it's walking, listening to music, reading something, is to change the energy and change the outcome. So why don't you open your calendar up right now, schedule that 10-minute walk between meetings, walk and voice note, take your meetings on the move, whatever it is, just get up. So movement through the day is my number 3 stress hack. Number 4, oh my gosh, boundaries. Boundaries are absolutely beautiful, but you've got to enforce them. This has always been a hard one for me. It's a continuous learning exercise for me. And I was recently chatting with a mentor of mine about the definition of success. And we got to the point that success is not just about the money. It's actually about energy, and it's about time. True success is having all 3. It's having money, it's having the time to do what you want to do, and it's having the energy to do what you want to do. And yet in so many of our lives, we're chasing the money, we're chasing the business growth, we're chasing those new clients. And what we tend to do in that chase, in that hustle, is we are sacrificing the time and our energy. So the only way to ensure that we're building true success is to think about the boundaries and to work on the boundaries around our time and our energy. And as I've said, this is something that I've really got to work on, actually, because of so much childhood hardwiring to put myself last and to always put others first. It's this rethink that I've got to do. I was talking to a really good mate of mine this weekend, and we were saying that it's almost like we need to have a tattoo on ourselves that says heal self first, heal me first, because of this childhood hardwiring to actually put yourself last. So I don't know if you're experiencing the same, but for me, I'm at an absolute work in progress here. And I'm so grateful that I've got so many people in my inner circle that hold me accountable to this, because it does mean that I need help. Now, this is where, for me, there's 2 things that come into play. One is my calendar is my boss, and I have a boss of my calendar, and that is my incredible EA Vanda. She is the boss of my calendar. So here's what I do. I put rules into my calendar. I time block. I have time to think. I have time when I'm doing deep work. I have time when it's about clients that they can access my calendar. I put in the time to travel. I put in time for holidays. I put in time to go to the beautician, to run, to exercise. I put in time to eat. I even put in time to stop. And all of this is color-coded like a glitter-loving ninja. And Vanda is in charge of that. My EA protects my time. She calls me on my crap, on my bullshit, essentially. And she enforces my own rules. I've given her permission to enforce my own rules. And she's in charge. She can call me on that. When I'm tempted to override them, she is allowed to call me on it. And it works because when your calendar reflects your priorities, your life gets easier. So maybe have a look at your week, audit your week. Where are those energy leaks out of your calendar, and fix those boundaries, or my Vanda will come for you. Maybe you need a Vanda in your world. And the final thing for me for stress is stop, rest, reset, and sleep. This one is so simple, and yet it's the first thing again that I abandon, that I hear so many amazing women around me abandoning when we're stressed. And I'm learning again and again that rest is a business strategy. And when I rest, when I rest properly, I know I sleep better, I can think better, I can lead like a boss, I can lead like a badass rebel magician that I am. And it requires me to be intentional about it. So at night, I have my stop time of work. It's about having that time with the family. It is about sitting with the family and watching, for me, some inane stuff on TV. And it's about reading. And for me, I read fiction books, not leadership books at night. I can't read business blogs. It's got to be fantasy and dystopian fiction. Give me dragons and fairies and crumbling worlds and epic quests. It's absolute escapism for the soul. So my ritual, as I've said, is I have that shut-off time. I set my alarm of when I'm going to bed. When I'm in bed, I read the dystopian, the escapism fiction for the soul. And I make sure that I'm giving my brain that chance to say thank you so that I can actually rest. And by the way, I have recently got into the habit, which I'm loving, of using my Insight Timely, actually, a sleep music meditation. So I literally put that on for 2 hours and I love it. And I don't hear it for 2 hours. I reckon I listen for 10 minutes and that's it. I'm fast asleep. So that's it. That's it for me. Those are the 5 habits that what keep me sane, focused, grounded, and let's be honest, a little less psycho on a Friday afternoon. And so my challenge for you this week is maybe choose either one of these things and make it your daily non-negotiable, or have a think about what makes you feel good? Because you know this stuff. You know this stuff intuitively for yourself. What are your 5 stress reduction habits? And anchor them. Make them your non-negotiables. Let these nourish you. Let these things remind you that you matter just as much as your clients, as your kids, as your calendar, as your cash flow. Make sure that you put yourself first, so that you can serve those people around you in the best way possible. Now, if you love this episode, please share it with someone who you think needs this reminder. Leave me a review, a comment, tag me on the socials, or send me a pic of your favorite stress-free habit, because we are in this together. And the more that we prioritize ourselves, the more brilliance we can unleash into the world. And the world needs you, my friend. The world needs you to do your awesome work right now. Until next time, I want you to be kind to yourself, breathe deeply, and please go and reset that nervous system like the glorious rebel queen that you are.